Jesus is love, and these are great days. The kingdom age has come, excitement is in the air, not by power nor by might, but by his spirit of love. Things are happening, and the covenant of the kingdom age has been given, and our Lord comes on a cloud. And this is a reading that I'm going to be doing here, and I hope you enjoy it. It's from Gospel of the Dove, one of my many books. Please subscribe and like this video and share it, hopefully. Merry Christmas to everyone, 2020. It's time for champions of love, and kingdom age prophecy is at hand, and Jesus Christ, the spirit of prophecy is the revelation of Jesus Christ. And as all those of all religions looks towards the hope of peace ahead, let all burdens now be put down as perfect love casts away all fear, and that is his name. His name is love. For it's time to get everyone onto the same page, for divided we have fallen, but united we shall stand tall, as those of all religions see that it's a world of laughter, a world of tears, and a world of faith, and a world of fears. There's so much good and bad that we all share, but the days of man's golden age is just ahead for those of love's faith. It's time when everyone should know that it's a small world after all. Then the spirit of prophecy added, people are exactly the same in their Lord of love's all-seeing sight, and there's just one moon and one golden sun of love, and a smile means friendship that even the deaf can hear. So it's time to raise up shields of faith and shields of love. Even though religions divide people as mountains, and even though their oceans of doctrine are wide, in between them, it shall always be a real small world after all, as those of love arise to see that it's also their time to obey their Lord's soft, still voice of love, asking for nothing but that. For his small blue world is in mighty big trouble, and it cannot take much more. So it's time that he's pouring out his love upon all flesh, as the spirit of hope arises throughout the land. The gross darkness has been shattered, and it will depart as people open their eyes to see his rising Son of righteousness. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten love, so that whosoever believeth in love should not perish, but have everlasting life and everlasting love. For it is written in 1 John 4:7 that those who love are born of God and know God, because Jesus is love and God is one with Elohim, Allah, Adonai, whatever you want to call him. His kingdom age covenant that he has sent, I am the messenger of Malachi 3:1, and he says, I shall forgive your iniquity and I shall remember it no more. And he loves us so much, he says that now, because his kingdom age word has been given to bring forth the very unity that he has given man, that he prayed for in the Garden of Gethsemane, that we would be one as he is one. And there's only one way that we can all be one with each other, and it is in love. So it's time to let his love overflow as living water upon all over the circle of earth. Christ loved all people as God's radiant glory, and that's who he is. And nor does it matter if people believe he's divine or not. He's inviting ignorance. People shall not need to be taught anymore about me, he says. But one thing for sure, he is divine in my book, and it was he who was the ruler of all things, and he became a servant so that they could become heirs, his people, of the universe by his word of love and the blood shed that he shed for every single person, whether they believed or not. Only way we will perish is if we let our love light go out. for those who love are born of God and know God, because God is love. So born again has always just been to reflame love on. It's never been to believe. That's why Jesus kept saying you have to be as little children, because all little children love. And as we grow old, our love can wax cold. I come from a very loveless family. My 5 children and my wife, everyone has cast me aside because of my faith. But love shall always win out, and I just love them from afar. And because of the Lord's pity for such a miserable race as this, he has agreed to be our living guarantee, so he never has to deal with anyone's most shameful sin ever again. For their eternal salvation is all on him by his kingdom age word that he has activated. It is the days of the fullness of Gentiles. Romans 11 said that when that comes, all Israel shall be saved because of the covenant. The mystery of God is that covenant of Jeremiah 31, dusted off and restored to its place of glory as the kingdom age covenant. And that is why Jeremiah was told, Jeremiah 1:10, that his word would tear down all the kingdoms of faith at the end. And then it was put as a latter-day prophecy in Jeremiah 30:24 and 31:1. And unfortunately, early Christian fathers who didn't understand the prophecy, even though it was correctly addressed to Israel and all mankind, Jeremiah 32:27, they said, nope, we are Israel, the prophecy is fulfilled. They ignored the latter days. But I am Daniel of Daniel 12:13, who arises to embrace my destiny as the last Elijah. I am one whose soul is not upright in Habakkuk 2. I am transgressed by wine, but the just shall live by my faith, because it is the faith of love. It is the faith of John 10:16. For all shall hear his true voice of love without condemnation over us. And it calls beckoning. And as he calls, he says, it is over. All of our crimes, past, present, or future, he paid for them all. And as believers of love, those believing in this gospel truth of his adoration will say, wow, if God's love is really like that, if he has set me completely free, I am his. I really don't want to sin anymore because he is trusting me. But whether we sin or not, people, it does not matter. He loves us through all of our mistakes. And everyone in this planet is deluded if anyone thinks that they're part of a group that's better than another. He is not a respecter of men, and he loves us all the same. He loves each and every one of us as if we were the only one. And since he will never again judge people's sin, because he says, I shall forgive your iniquity and remember it no more, otherwise he would be a liar. As his last testament now proves, his word, his canon is broken open, exactly as Daniel 12 has said, for the latter days. And people will now more than ever, as they get their head around the kingdom age covenant being literal always, when it was always only viewed as metaphoric, unable to be applied over anyone's life. This has been the everlasting covenant that's been over all people of all time. And as it was in the beginning, so shall it be at the end. For this is the restoration of Acts 3:21, and he is kept in reserve and cannot even come back until the kingdom age covenant is shared with all people, because it was written for all people. It was not for Christians, it was for all people, and God just wants to love on us. So people can finally say, oh, thank God I'm free at last, free at last. And then they'll know on Judgment Day that the great judge of all judges shall never judge them. Amen.